the greater tubercle, and this is the lesser tubercle. Greater and lesser. Okay, in between the two is a notch-like structure right there. And that thing is called one of two names. It's either called the bicipital groove or the intertubercular sulcus. Either way, I don't care how you remember it. Check it out, look. In between the tubercles, intertubercular sulcus or the bicipital groove. It's called the bicipital groove. You don't need to know this right now because the long tendon of your biceps muscles go through there. Hence, bicipital groove. Okay? And that takes care of the proximal end of the bone. Then mid-shaft, right around the mid-shaft facing laterally. Well, how do you know you're facing laterally? Because it's opposite the way the head faces. There's a bump that faces outward on the mid-shaft. That bump there is called the deltoid tuberosity. Deltoid tuberosity. And why is it called that? Because your deltoid muscle attaches, one of its attachments is right there. Yes? Okay? Now when we get to the distal or bottom end of the bone, there's a lot happening at the bottom of the humerus. So spend a lot of time at the bottom of the humerus because there's a lot of things going on down here. Okay, usually at the bottom of long bones are condyles, which are articulating processes, and they're usually called a medial and lateral condyle on these bones. However, for the humerus, they're not called the medial and lateral condyle. They have special names. So if you start off with the lateral one here, this lateral condyle, how do you know it's lateral? Well, the head is medial, so this side is lateral. This roundish condyle here is called the capitulum. So the capitulum is analogous to what normally would be a lateral condyle. It's a lateral condyle, but it's called the capitulum. And then this double-pointed guy right here is called the trochlea. Trochlea, trochlea.
So what?
Double, like it's from this point to that point. Okay? Round guy, capitulum, double pointed. From this point to that point is the trochlea. Okay, this is capitulum, trochlea. Okay, on the side, capitulum, and then the trochlea right here. Okay? Now, on the sides of condyles are sometimes epicondyles. Not always, but sometimes. And there are two epicondyles on the humerus. So there's a lateral and a medial epicondyle. Well, you know the head is medial, right? Mm-hmm. So you come down here, and this one must be the medial epicondyle right there. And then the one on the other side must be the lateral epicondyle. And if you don't like that reasoning, look at the size of the medial compared to the lateral. It's at least 10 times larger. The medial is much larger than the lateral epicondyle, if you like that reasoning. Okay? Then there's three fossas down here, three fossas. The most important one probably is this single one right here, this large single fossa right there. That thing is called the olecranon fossa. Olecranon. And you want to make a note very importantly that the olecranon fossa must face posteriorly in the body. So this is the back of the bone. This whole thing is the back of the bone. Flip it over, we have the front of the bone, right? Directly above the capitulum is the radial fossa. The radial fossa is directly above the capitulum. And then directly above the trochlea is the coronoid fossa. And I will show you why they got their names a little later. Did anybody miss any of that? Is anybody out there?
The radial fossa is directly above the capitulum.
And the coronoid fossa is directly above the trochlea. Okay? And now it's very easy to determine right from left humerus. Okay, you'll remember that the head must be proximal and medial, right? So if you put the head proximal and medial starting on your left arm, look at that olecranon fossa. It's facing anteriorly. That's not right. So put the head proximally and medially on your right arm, and now the olecranon fossa is posterior, so this has to be a right humerus. Very easy to figure out. Any questions on the humerus? plural for humerus is humeri, H-U-M-E-R-I, or U-R-E-I, humeri.